Good evening, everyone. We'll be beginning the Planning Commission meeting at 6:15 while we wait for one commissioner to arrive. Thank you for your patience. Okay.
Let's go. Guys, we're ready.
Okay, welcome everyone to the March 2026 San Juan Bautista Planning Commission hearing. Why don't we begin by rising and pledging our allegiance to the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Semper Fi. Do we just say Semper Fi at the end? Every time.
You got it. Yeah.
May we get a roll call, please?
Yes, Chair. Commissioner Bretzel, Commissioner Mortarana,
Here.
Commissioner Sanchez,
Present and accounted for.
Chair DeVries.
Here.
Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Each month we set aside time to hear from the public on items that will not otherwise be discussed on the agenda. Are there any public comments like this on Zoom?
We do not have any public comment in chambers or on Zoom.
Great. Then that general public is closed. Going next to consent, that consists of the affidavit of posting of agenda and the minutes of January 2026. Is there any need to pull one of those items? If not, we'll entertain a motion to approve both.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
And the affidavit of posting? Oh, I'm sorry, Chris.
Yeah, sorry.
Is
there a second?
That was my fault. Yeah, we need a second.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the consent agenda, both the affidavit and the minutes. Is there, do we have a vote, please?
Yes. Commissioner Bretzel, Commissioner Mortarana,
Aye.
Commissioner Sanchez,
Aye.
Commissioner DeVries.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, action item 4A. This is the general plan annual progress report. Our planning manager, director in charge, Ariel Goodspeed.
Thank you. Victor, can you please pull up the PowerPoint? Thank you. Ariel Goodspeed, Planning Manager for the City of San Juan Bautista. And and I will be presenting to you tonight the General Plan Annual Progress Report. Next slide. We're going to be using a lot of terms. If you need reference, just go back to slide 1. Next slide. So the annual progress report is how the city is implementing its general plan over the course of the year. It's required by state law, and it governs under the Office of Land Use and Climate Innovation and the California Department of Housing and Community Development. It's supposed to be submitted to the state each year by April 1st, and it must, prior to being submitted, it needs to be presented to the local legislative body for review and amendments. So it will go to Planning Commission, and your recommendation will then proceed to City Council. Next slide. What's in the general plan? We have 5 chapters. Chapter 1 introduces the annual progress report and the city's general plan. Chapter 2 talks about how the city is in compliance with the housing element and the status of the housing element update. 3 includes planning activities and general plan efforts that occurred in the 2025 calendar year. I apologize about the typo. And chapter 4 is the city's accomplishments, and chapter 5 is the interagency, intergovernmental coordination, and promotion of the infill development reuse. Next slide. So chapter 1, this includes, it complies with all the guidelines outlined in the LCI's general plan guidelines, including land use, circulation, housing, conservation, open space, noise, and safety. Next slide. Additionally, it addresses air quality, environmental justice, our general plan does include the additional elements of economic development, public facilities and services, historic preservation, community design, health, and the strategic plan. Next slide. Chapter 2 updates. It is working towards making updates on the following elements: land use circulation, conservation, open space, historic preservation, community design, and strategic plan. The city made significant efforts towards updating the city's sphere of influence, as well as establish an urban growth boundary planning area in the year 2024. And then in 2026, we'll be bringing to the urban growth boundary a draft for input on that general plan amendment. Next slide. Compliance with the housing element. Victor will be presenting the housing element annual progress report. It is a required state law to have. It provides a plan to accommodate for future housing production needs. And when this PowerPoint was put together, the last update was that it was submitted for comments, and it was submitted to HCD. However, as of Thursday, we now have a certified housing element with the state. And so, so good job, team. And Victor will talk more about the annual progress report in his presentation. Chapter 3, planning activities and general plan effort. In a lot of this was continuation of kind of what had happened in the previous year, 2024, but it, still ongoing. So we kept it in as their ongoing efforts. So the resolution 2024-03 basically authorized the city manager to execute a PSA with Rojas and Communication Group to identify and secure state and federal grants and low interest loans to pay for the city's water import compliance. Resolution 2024-09. Next slide, sorry. To seek public input on updating the city's 2023 strategic plan and schedule public workshops in April as approved in the January 2023 under resolution 2023-05 to develop new strategic plan and high-level organization. The newest update is tomorrow. The city council will be reviewing their strategic plan at 5:30. So if anyone's interested, please attend tomorrow evening. Next slide. This is a continuation of the PLHA program. At the last city council meeting, additional funds for years 2022 and 2023 was requested from city council for staff to submit. Staff submitted that grant application to the state on Thursday, and we're waiting to hear if will be awarded for those additional years. But it's just a continuation of what was done before. Next slide. Again, these are just additional, continuation of what's been going on with resolutions 2024-21 and 2024-25 to levy and collect assessments within the community facilities district and levying the annual special tax for the CFDs. The annual Melrose presentations will be forthcoming in the upcoming months, so stay tuned to city council meetings on those. So essentially when you have, for example, like a new housing development project, things like streetlights or road upkeep, there's a cost that's associated to the resident.
So that's what this.
Yes. Yes. Okay. You're welcome. Most of this you heard last year. Some of you were here, some of you weren't. So just to keep you all updated. Sure. We will be pausing. Do you want to mute us for a minute? (2025). And, and
5-0.
for all those listening in and unaware, it was passed 5-0.
You were there.
I was presenting in another life. Anyhow, continuing on, the process will, our next steps, just to kind of outline where we're at, in order to bring the, in order to change the sphere of influence, recommendation to be the same as the city limit lines. A general plan amendment for an infill study needed to be done to show that all the future development could be done within the city limits lines. It had been in progress and working on. There was a drop in staff. It is now back and up and running. Staff's reviewed. We're finalizing a draft and we'll be bringing it to the Urban Growth Boundary Committee on March 25th at 5:30. And this will be the first time that come back to the public on, what potential policies and upzoning or changes might be needed in order to accommodate for changing the sphere to the city limit lines. And it'll be the very first discussion with the public and the committee. Depending on what potential changes or recommendations come from that, either it may need a follow-up meeting, if changes can be are not substantial and can be made, then staff will then move forward with making those recommended changes and then putting out a public draft for review. And then it would be to Planning Commission and then City Council for adoption. Once that general plan amendment is adopted, then an application to LAFCO will need to be made and the final sphere would need to be changed. So those are kind of the next steps, and I'll have a better update after March of where we stand. So, and I know that's been a big question. What is happening with this infill study? So, next slide. Continuing on, the gas station, you'll see tonight the landscape plans. The development agreement was approved by City Council in December, and we are wrapping up all the outstanding condition compliance items in order to be able to issue the building permits. And so we're hoping we can get there, but the landscape plans is one of those items that we need to check. So that will be item C. on our action items tonight, so we'll talk more about that shortly. Some of our accomplishments in 2025. This one was continued. We secured a professional services agreement to identify and secure the state and federal grants and low interest loans to pay for the city's water import compliance project. This is in line with General Plan Amendment Goal 3, efficient use of energy and natural resources. The city's force main accomplishments included substantial completion with a turnoff on date of July 2025. This is in line with goal PF1, a community with high quality water and sewer services provided in the most efficient, cost effective, and environmentally sound manner. Additionally, in 2025, we updated the city's fleet with an enterprise contract. This hits goal HE3, a safe community. In February, March of 2024, but we amended Chapter 5-4 of the San Juan Bautista's Municipal Code to comply with Senate Bill 1383. This is in line with Goal PF3, a community with adequate waste handling and disposal facilities, and also Goal PF4, a community that generates a minimal quantity of solid waste. In March of last year, Resolution 2025-11 was approved for the request of proposals for the San Juan Bautista Water Transmission Pipeline Design Services, Goal CO2 Clean Air and Water for residents and visitors, and Goal CO3 Efficient Use of Energy and Natural Resources. Continuing on our accomplishments, in April of 2024, just the strategic plan, and that's continuing on. Continued in 2025, we partnered with San Benito County to utilize the permanent local housing allocation, which I had mentioned earlier. And then in May 2025, Resolution 2025-33 authorizing staff to enter into a mutually beneficial partnership with San Benito County for fire protection services. In May of 2025, Resolution 2025-32 was approved, authorizing the city of San Juan Bautista participation in preparation of the 2025 San Benito urban water management plan and improving the cost sharing agreement. This aligns with goals CO2 clean air and water for residents and visitors, and CO3 efficient use of energy and natural resources. Continuing on our additional accomplishments, in June, under Resolution 2539, approving Amendment Number 1 to the Fire Protection Services Agreement between the City of San Juan Bautista, City of Hollister, and the County of San Benito. This adheres to General Plan Goals PS3, a community safe from urban and wildland fire hazards, and Goal PF5, a safe, peaceful, and orderly community with adequate police and fire protection. September 2025, Resolution 2025-58, a resolution approving the interim wastewater system operator services agreement with Cypress Water Services, Inc., authorizing execution of the agreement, and Goal PF1, a community with high quality water and sewer services provided in most efficient, cost effective, and environmentally sound manner. In December of 2025, we adopted Ordinance 2025-04 to accept the Alameda Gas Station Development Agreement as part of a condition compliance for the project and moving along one of the city's major planning projects. The main thing to take away is that the city is consistently doing a lot of work, and that is consistent with our general plan. Everything we do is consistent with state law and our local ordinances and general plan. So my recommendation to you tonight is that the Planning Commission receive the 2025 General Plan Annual Progress Report, provide any comments or recommended edits to improve clarity or accuracy prior to submittal, and recommend that City Council accept the General Plan Annual Progress Report and authorize staff to submit the report to the Governor's Office of Land Use and Climate Innovation and the California Department of Housing and Community Development by April 1st, 2026.
Okay. That was a very comprehensive report. Thank you, Ariel. Let's start with any questions from the commission to Ariel for that report. Are there any? Chris?
No questions or comments. Thank you very much for the report.
At least.
No questions. Thank you.
All right. Eddie, anything?
No, very thorough. Thank you. No questions.
All right. I don't have anything either. Let's open up public comment then. Anyone from the public care to speak about this? Kara, do you have anything? No?
Okay, Chair, we do not have any public comment in chambers or on Zoom.
Do not have anything on Zoom, correct?
Do not, no.
Okay. All right, then public comment is closed. Is there any further discussion or proposed motion? If so, there's probably language for a proposed motion in the packet.
I move that we recommend to the city council to accept the 2025 general plan annual progress report as submitted and presented to us today, and authorize staff to submit the report to the Governor's Office of Land Use and Climate Innovation and the California Department of Housing and Community Development by March 1st, 2026.
I think it says April 1st.
April, I'm sorry.
Go back in time.
Second,
We've had a motion and a second. May we get a vote, Victor?
Yes, Commissioner Britno, Commissioner Motorana,
aye.
Commissioner Sanchez,
Aye.
Chair DeVries.
All right.
Chair, motion carries.
Next up is the landscape plan, which is what?
Housing element.
Housing element. I'm sorry, I skipped one. Item 4B. Ariel.
Victor will be presenting.
Victor, sorry. Take it away, Victor.
Okay, good evening, Chair and Commissioners. My name is Victor Tafoya, Associate Planner with the city, and tonight I'm going to be presenting the city's housing element annual progress report for calendar year 2025. My goal is to keep it simple, what the APR is, what we saw in 2025, and what actions is being requested tonight. Building on that, I'll start with tonight's item on the next slide. Okay, tonight's item has three parts. First, receive the housing element annual progress report for calendar year 2025. Second, provide any comments or recommendation edits to improve clarity and accuracy before we submit it. Third, recommend that the city council accept the 2025 APR and authorize staff to submit it to HCD and LCI by April 1st of this year. This annual reporting item and the April 1st deadline matters. Now that we've covered the ask, the next slide explains what the APR is and why the state requires it. Okay, the Housing Element Annual Progress Report, or APR for short, is a yearly report that does two things. It summarizes housing activity and it tracks progress on housing element programs. The state requires it, and we use HCD standard forms and definitions. We submitted to the California Department of Housing and Community Development and the Governor's Office of Land Use and Climate Innovation. It covers the prior calendar year and is due by April 1st each year. A simple way to think about it is that the APR is a yearly check-in. It's not a policy change. It's not a project approval. It's a snapshot of what happened and what is in the pipeline. One technical point stated plainly, HCD primarily uses building permits in Table A2 to track RENA progress. With that foundation, the next slide shows our 2025 numbers at a glance. Okay, this slide is a quick summary of the 2025. For 2025, we had 6 housing applications, 3 permits issued. Does that work? Okay, gotcha.
And Victor, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but can I just a point of clarification? This is for new housing applications.
Housing units. So that could mean single family residential units. That could mean ADUs, junior accessory dwelling units, multifamily dwelling units.
Got it. But
Yeah.
would not include anything related to remodeling or then that sort of thing. This is just new construction.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so this slide, as I mentioned, is a summary for 2025. We had 6 housing applications, 3 permits issued, and 1 unit completed in 2025. Here's a simple real world way to remember it. Think of a funnel. At the top, there are applications. In the middle are issued permits, and at the bottom are completed units. In a small city, most years look exactly like this. A handful of applications, fewer permits, and even fewer completions within that same calendar year. Now that you've seen the big picture, the next slide shows what those applications were and where they ended up by the end of the year. Okay, let's see. Ariel, can you try clicking on the next slide? Okay. All right. So this slide here breaks down the pipeline as of December 31st of 2025. The 2 properties projects were still in review. 1 project was approved but not issued. 2 projects were issued but not completed, and 1 project was completed in 2025. In plain language, here's what that means. The in-review projects include 1 ADU and the duplex application. The approved, not issued project is the junior accessory dwelling unit that was approved but was still pending payment. The issued was not completed. Projects are 2 ADUs that received permits in 2025, but their final sign-off happened later. And the 1 completed in 2025 is a unit, an ADU that was finalized within that year. 1 quick example to make this tangible: a homeowner can submit an ADU application in spring, get a permit in summer, and still not finish construction until next year. That's why we track all 3 steps: submitted, issued, and completed. Okay, so this slide here shows the city arena for the 6th cycle, which runs from 2023 to 2031. The total allocation is 88 units, broken into very low, low, moderate, above moderate categories. For 25, the city issued 3 permits, all in the above moderate category, which is about 3.4% of 88 unit arena number. 1 important reminder, stated simply: RENA is about planning for capacity, not guaranteeing that units will be built. The housing element is likely setting the table. The APR is how we show year by year what activity occurred. Next, I'll briefly cover state streamlining. This is what is required, questions required in the APR, and it helps state understand how projects are being processed. So for calendar year 2025, no housing applications use the main state streamlining pathways listed in the APR forms. All 2025 applications were processed under the city standard local review. All were ministerial ADU or JADU permits. In other words, we did not have any SB9 or similar streamlined cases in 2025. If we did, the APR requires us to identify them here. Now that we've covered these housing activities, the next slide shifts to the second half of the APR report: housing element progress, also known as Table D. Okay, so Table D is the program implementation section of the APR for this reporting year. The APR tracks 40 housing element programs. The main takeaway is simple: most programs are scheduled work items during the 2023 to 2031 cycle. In 2025, programs are listed as either ongoing or planned. Ongoing work includes things like code enforcement and day-to-day permit processing. Plan includes items like applying for CDBG funds for housing rehabilitation and updating local standards required by state law. A quick way to think about Table D is a work plan. It's the city's checklist for how we keep moving in the housing element forward. Now that we've covered what the report says, the next slide covers the next steps and timing. Okay, the next steps are straightforward. Staff will incorporate any comments from the Planning Commission, finalize the APR, and bring it to the City Council for review and accept after. The deadline is April 21st of 2026, and the APR covers calendar year 2026. So to clarify, this is a reporting document. It does not approve projects. It does not change local policy. Finally, I'll close with the recommended action in the last slide. Okay, staff recommends that the Planning Commission receive the annual progress report for the calendar year 2025, provide any comments, recommendation, or edits to improve clarity, accuracy before submittal, and recommend that the City Council accept the 2025 APR and authorize staff to submit it to HCD and LCI by April 1st of this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. You see my house right there underneath that green bar. See if I'm walking around the park. Any questions of Victor with his great report?
No questions, thank you.
Elise,
No questions. Thank you.
Chris?
No questions or comments, thanks.
Yeah, I don't have any either. Just to summarize then, so 6 ADU applications in junior ADUs, right? And one got built?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. Seems like the long and short of it. Straight to the point. Is there someone that has a motion then to get this on to the? Oh no, it's really?
Hey,
The public again?
I don't write the law.
Yeah, I know. Due process. First, let's go on Chambers. Cara, do you have anything to say about this? No, she says. Anyone in Zoom land with their hand raised?
Okay, we do not have anybody on Zoom.
Okay. Public comments closed. Now, unless there's any other questions, that will entertain a motion.
I have a question, Victor.
Oh,
Yes,
Can you please put that slide back up for us?
yes.
As your recommendation.
I move to receive the annual housing element progress report and recommend to the city council to accept it and authorize staff to submit it to HCD and LCI by April 1st.
I second that.
She just wanted that to make a motion. Code. So we have a motion from Chris and a second from Commissioner Bretnell. So can we have a vote, please?
Yes, Commissioner Britnell, Commissioner Mortorana,
Aye.
Commissioner Sanchez,
Aye.
Chair DeVries.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Victor, for the great work on that. Next, 4C action items, the Alameda Gas Station landscape plans. Ariel. Yeah.
Thank you, Victor. Ariel Goodspeed, Planning Manager for the City of San Juan Bautista. Tonight, we're going to be reviewing condition of approval number 16 landscape plans from the approved gas station project development agreement. Next slide. This was brought to you in December, but just a quick recap for anyone listening in, and this is their first time. The approved project is located south of Highway 156 and east of the Alameda. It's a commercial property of a little over an acre for a gas station that includes 7 pumps, a convenience store, a lease space, parking spaces, EV charging, bicycle stalls, a loading zone, and it has a beautiful rustic barn-like design. Next slide. So the landscape plans, that was part of your packet. Just what the requirements of condition of approval 16 include is that they prior to grading or building permit issuance, that they be submitted and approved, that the landscape and irrigation plans are prepared by a licensed landscape architect, they comply with our municipal code, and the conditions of approval. Next slide. The design standards include landscaping must soften and enhance the buildings and walls and paved areas, promote energy efficiency, that drought tolerant plants were used, water efficient irrigation systems, and meet the MLO state requirements. Landscaping required along the Alameda and Highway 156 frontages must remain in healthy, weed-free, and maintained at all times. Next slide, thank you. As part of the condition of approval, I'm just gonna read the common names for these because I don't think I could even begin to read the non-common names. So for part of the condition of approval, the plants to be used was the Keith Davy, Pink Dawn, Olive Tree, the Minor Dwarf Yellow Hawthorn, the Little John Dwarf Bottle Brush, Purple Blooms, Goodwin Creek, and no, I'm not making up these names. Next slide.
Sorry to interrupting here, Ariel. Where does this list live in our packet?
It was on the plan,
Here?
and it's also in the condition of approval. It was on the approved plan sets from when it was.
Right, but we don't have that, right?
You do, but this is a larger version of what's in your packet.
Yes.
Right. No, I understand.
What's that about? The slide.
No, my
The printed PowerPoint should be in front of you. Victor made copies. I think.
still can't read that. No, my question was just purely this list of plants here. And then, did you say it was in condition 16 itself? A list of plants?
Yep, it's in condition 16, and it came from the approved plan set from 2024.
Do we have a copy of the exact text of condition 16?
Yes,
in front
it
of us?
is in your staff reports. If you're looking at your staff report here, let me go to it real quick. I think it's like page 3. Wait.
Underneath the matrix here?
Yes. Let's see. It's. Oh. You know what? Let's just pull up. I had added it. I believe. Did I add the full condition? No, I summarized the condition. If you want to hold on just a moment, we can stop the PowerPoint. I'm going to pull up the full condition language for you real quick.
I have access to the drives.
What? I think that I don't like that I can't tell anything from this landscaping plan and landscaping. So I think trees are gone. Do a control.
I don't know exactly, so let's go and not do that. And it's like that. Two pages. Sorry. Okay, want to share screen and then we can scroll through. Okay. Okay, I'm going to read condition of approval 16. Prior to the issuance of a grading or building permit, applicant shall submit a detailed landscape and irrigation plan designed by a licensed landscape architect for the entire site for review and approval by the Planning Commission. Landscape plan shall comply with section 11-12-020D of the municipal code. All landscaping and irrigation shall be installed and operational prior to issuance of a final approval for occupancy. The landscaping shall be sufficient when mature to soften and enhance the appearance of buildings, walls, enclosures, and paved areas, promote energy efficiency, be drought tolerant, and irrigation systems shall be designed for water efficiency. Landscaping shall include trees, shrubs, as understory vegetation and ground cover with special attention to property frontages along the Alameda and Highway 156, such as but not limited to the Keith Davy, the Pink Dawn, the Olive Tree, the Minor Dwarf Yellow Hawthorn, the Little John Dwarf Bottle Brush, the Purple Blooms, and the Goodwin Creek. Evidence of coordination with Caltrans for landscaping within the within the Highway 156 right-of-way shall be submitted. Landscaping shall be maintained in a healthy, flourishing condition at all times. All landscape areas shall be maintained weed-free and free of litter and debris at all times. To the extent possible, landscape plans shall incorporate landscape material that evoke the city's historical past. Once the landscape plans have been approved by the Planning Commission, the Planning Commission ad hoc will monitor installation per the approved plan set. The ad hoc committee shall consist of 2 planning commissioners appointed by the Planning Commission to serve for the duration of time necessary to complete construction of the Alameda gas station project, after which the ad hoc committee may be dissolved unless otherwise directed by the Planning Commission. The ad hoc committee shall serve as the approving body for all applicable design features. The 2 appointed commissioners shall be obligated to convene and review items submitted by the applicant to the city and shall provide written comments, direction, or decision within 10 working business days of receipt of a complete submittal. In the event that the ad hoc committee does not approve a particular design element or cannot reach consensus within the required timeframe, the item shall be forwarded to the full planning commission for consideration and final action.
May I ask a question? Could you repeat the municipal code that was cited there?
Yes, 11-12-020D.
Thank you.
I can go back to the PowerPoint. Do you have any specific questions? I'm going to summarize this as, okay. Okay. Victor, uh, additional requirements, 6, I don't know if you can see. Next slide. So coordination with so as read, but just to highlight, coordination with Caltrans on landscaping in the right of way. The landscape materials should reflect historical character of the city. It as it can be, the ad hoc coming will mar the installation, and if something occurs during that time and ad hoc can't reach a consensus, it will return for the full planning commission. Next slide. This is a little bit hard to read. We did provide you a printed land 11 by 17 landscape plans. If you go to the next slide, when you're looking at the plans for, if this is your first time reading a landscape plan, there's little circles, and I have, so for RU, that for example, that will refer to the minor dwarf yellow, and then you can look at the plans and then see, where those are planted. This planting legend also shows like what size that will be planted, and so you have trees that are going to be 15 or 10 gallons, and then our smaller plants are 5 gallon plants. It kind of shows like the frequency and location of those. As you can see around the borders of the Alameda and 156, and then also along the Leal, we have trees mixed in with some smaller vegetation, just to provide a fuller foliage. And then, in front of and around the gas station and lease space, there's some smaller plants. And next slide. This is just an enlargement on the site plans of the shade calculations, and above the parking area. Next slide. And this is just a blow up, meeting the requirement of the landscape ordinance by a licensed architect. And staff's recommendation is that the planning commission review and approve the landscape and irrigation plans for the Alameda gas station project pursuant to condition of approval number 16 of the development agreement 2025-04, finding that the submitted plans comply with the municipal code and the requirements sets forth in the conditions of approval.
Okay. I had some comments and thoughts that on myself to go first. Is there any opportunity to put that? Thank you. To put that condition 16 back up, since
Yes.
I know that it's in front of us otherwise. There it is. Okay. And Chris asked for the code section. There it is again, 1112.020. Did you look that up, by the way?
I did.
What does it say?
It, it's pretty straightforward. The question that caused me to look at that was something I thought was in there. Let me look, see if I can find it. Landscape plan shall comply with that section, and they do as far as they go. I think I heard someone say elevations, which is one of the things I've wondered about. Is
Yeah, that's what I
I
was
don't
gonna say.
understand why we would be looking at why we would ever take plans that don't have elevations on them.
Right. I was going to get to that.
These are just landscape plans. Your full plan set of the whole project was already previously brought for.
Wait, I've got the floor. Chris cited the code section 1112.020 that this approval shall be performed under. And this line in condition 16, landscaping shall be sufficient when mature to soften and enhance the appearance of buildings, walls, enclosures, and paved areas, etc. I, for one, cannot tell anything about whether the proposed plantings are going to accomplish that at all. And it may accomplish it very well and may not accomplish it whatsoever. Shall be installed. Wait. Landscaping shall be sufficient when mature to soften and enhance the appearance of buildings. Huge. And we know, by the way, this is not hypothetical. We've recently had a huge electrical charging apparatus installed at the Windmill Market gateway into town that looks like Candlestick Park when it's lit up. There's absolutely no landscaping buffering that whatsoever. Bright, glaring lights, ugly electronics, blocking out that beautiful building and the great architecture and design. So plantings and landscaping and being thoughtful about these things can make a difference. And I would like to see where the olive trees are going to go and how they're going to soften the buildings and how they're going to interact with the physical structures of this property. The plantings, as we were shown them, don't have heights, for example. They just say olive tree. Well, olive tree can be 10 feet tall or 50 feet tall. Which olive trees? Mission, Manzanillo, Arbequina. And I think the landscaping, getting the landscaping right on this project is very, very important. And I just frankly don't have enough that I've been shown tonight to I've seen these pictures before at least 50 times. These are just stock photos of different plants. But I'd be interested in seeing what the proposed landscaping does from an elevation view against the building and whether it says, as it's supposed to, soften it. And I think that's easily done in today's day and age with computer graphics and all that stuff.
That was
Huh?
yeah, I was
You are?
on the same thought process. Like,
Right.
okay, well, these are 2D models here.
Right.
Can we
What's it going to look like?
Yeah.
When
let's
mature.
let's put it on CAD
Right.
where we can have the full view.
Right.
And I just like to say I forgot to bring my glasses tonight, so this is all one big massive blur. So I too would like to see a little bit more detailing here on what this is going to look like before I put my name to an approval. Thank you.
Three's not good. It's just blurry. For one, these are too strong.
I see blurriness.
And 3 point.
Is that bottom right the Goodwin Creek?
But this is
I know.
I can't. Oh yeah, it is. I can just see Yeah, that's the good one here. Okay, thank you.
It's lavender. I grow that. Lantana, I grow that too. So as
Can we schedule a special meeting to bring this back and not wait a month?
sure, and that's a good, yeah, absolutely. The answer is yes, absolutely. And but it segues to another question I had. I thought, well, shoot, I can't see enough, but Chris and I, as the subcommittee, maybe could look into it further with elevations and how tall are those trees going to be, and what are they going to look like up against that wall, and so forth. We could do all that as a subcommittee, and I'm happy to do it. But I looked in particular at the language of condition 16, and it refers to the subcommittee having purview over installation only. And so I wouldn't want to get hung up on that.
Yeah.
So that if Chris and I say, you know what, we think maybe something a little bigger should go there, they'll say, no, no, no. All you guys can talk about is how you plant it or something, installation of a plant, not what should go there. So it seems like the time to discuss what should go where is now. And if we're in charge of just overseeing the installation of it, okay. Unless you want to broaden the subcommittee scope to address that issue too, then I'm happy to do that. But what do you think, Chris?
I think it needs to come back to the planning commission.
Okay.
I don't think I think it needs to come to the planning commission.
Very well. I don't disagree with that. It's that important.
Well,
Can I interject here, city attorney? I don't think this is a time to change the plans. The plans are as they are. And I think, we do, the installation, I think you read that right, Chair. But I don't think this is the time or any subsequent time that we change the plans. I think they are as they are. That's my reading of it.
Well, this is the time to approve or disprove the plans, correct?
Correct.
All right. So would a vote to disprove them be preferable?
I don't, that's up to you.
I, I definitely have some questions and comments, and then I'd be prepared to vote. And I know we have public comment. I believe we have public comment as well.
Right, but I don't think the discussion is up the commission yet.
No,
But
absolutely.
back to the city attorney, condition 16.
Eric, can I have you speak closer into the mic, please?
Yes. My comment is addressed back to the city attorney. Condition 16 requires an analysis by this commission as to whether the proposed landscaping softens the edges of buildings, and I don't have the language in front of me again. Maybe we can get that back up if that's possible. Yeah, but can I just finish my train of thought?
Through the chair, can I make an additional suggestion?
Sure.
Landscaping is the very last thing that's done prior to the building permit issuance. Could we, continue on as long as the rest of the life, health, safety items are met?
As long as the what are met?
As long as the rest of the life, health, safety requirements are met for building permit issuance, could we continue on and bring back? Landscaping isn't going to be done until the very end of the project. That's one of the very last things. And so we wouldn't be able to provide building permit occupancy until met. Could we continue to bring this back but not hold up being able to issue the initial building permit to start construction?
As long as well, I don't, we can take the temperature. I think that's a question for each of us as commissioners, so I'll answer it first. I think that I'd be fine with that as long as the city shows the status of the landscaping plan as being unapproved until then. That's my thought. Chris?
I agree. I have no problem with the moving forward. I just want it to be absolutely crystal clear that there's no final sign off until we approve a plan and they implement the plan to our satisfaction.
Correct.
Correct.
That's just that has over and over and over and over again in this town, we've seen the landscaping not completed. And that is not acceptable in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, your proposal makes all the sense in the world. I 100% support it, as long as they understand that unless we sign off on a plan and it's implemented to our satisfaction, they're not getting occupancy. They're not opening the business.
Okay. Maybe as part of the recommendation for continuing the item, staff prepare a letter that gets signed
Sure.
and goes into the file and attached to the building permit record.
That's fine. And then with your informal discussions with the applicant too, you could certainly offer, I think I speak on behalf of Chris and myself, our willingness to have conversations with them about some of these specifics and particulars of the landscaping that we're interested in seeing for that final sign off.
Okay. I can also schedule maybe a meeting with the applicant ad hoc.
Yes, that's what I meant. That's what I meant by Chris and I, the ad hoc. Right? What? I'm thinking. What does that look for?
I would like,
Yeah.
state.
Of course.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. I understand your concerns, and I also understand how long this has been going for the applicant, and I also understand their desire to get this done. I like your idea. I just want to see the elevations. I want to see what it's going to look like 3, 5 years. When is it mature? You say mature. When is maturity? 100 years? 5 years? 10 years? What's the maturity? I need more information, please, before I put my name to something. So again, I would like to see, what are these going to look like? For me, I'm thinking 1, 3, 5 years. I know that's a little bit more expense, and I know it's a little bit more time, but I am more than happy to come back and do a special meeting and sit down and approve it once I have the information in front of me, because I do want this to go in and I want this to be a win-win for everyone. So I love your idea, and just make sure that we see what it's going to look like. Thank you.
Yeah. If it's the will of the commission to allow that suggestion, then we would be able to begin construction, and it would be, months to a year, before the landscaping even be going in. And so we would have the time needed to perfect it.
Okay.
Ariel, the only thing that I would state on that is that I would want a definitive date by the time that we have this, so that we have time to review and we're not rushing and we're not pushing. I want to make sure that this continues in a proper, progressive, successful manner for all parties involved. And that means by the next 3 to 6 months, 3 months, I would expect to have those designs or something in front of us that we can approve, so that we know what it's going to look like at X, Y, and Z, and definitively state X, Y, and Z. 1, 3, 5, 2, 4, 6. I don't care. You can decide those timeframes, but I want to see what it's going to look like. Thank
Okay.
you very much.
You're welcome. The applicant's been turning things around expeditiously, so we should be able to get them back, pretty quickly. I just couldn't guarantee until I've talked with the applicant.
No, I understand that. I'm just asking that we put a specific date in, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Those were good comments. Eddie, what do you got?
Yeah, no, just as my fellow commissioners are here saying, I want to see a 3D view. We got 2D here, and let's get it published. Let's get some feedback. Not only for us for up here, but I mean, it's our duty to do our due diligence. So yeah, I'm not going to sign off on anything until we have all the facts and what the end's going to look like. That's it.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Sanchez. Let's open it up for public comment. We have not heard from the public yet. Are there any comments in the chambers?
Yes, in chambers we have Caravan. You may now approach the podium.
Green light?
Oh, thank you. Okay, Caravanc, San Juan Bautista resident. I've been following the project pretty closely. I do not remember the landscape palette having been decided on, but the condition number 16, I don't think it's set in stone because it says, but is not limited to. So that's one little escape clause, hopefully. I want to talk primarily about the trees. First of all, please note that they're 10-gallon and 15-gallon trees, and that's pretty puny for such a big project. You know, it's a big area that's going to be covered. And then you'll note too that most of the heights of those trees, average height is 30 feet. It sounds like a lot, but it's not. These trees should be at least 100 feet tall. And I have planted trees in front of my house there. And now, of course, I can't remember the name of them. But anyway, they're 30 feet tall because I couldn't get into the wires. But if you take a look at First Street, you know, the development, I'm sorry, I have trouble coming up with words, I'm getting old. Creek Bridge, those are all plane trees, huge, beautiful street trees. And this is a huge property and along a freeway. So we need to, in my view, have some really beautiful, significant trees. And I think that's, oh, and then the other thing, there was supposed to be a sign at the corner there. And I'd like to know what the landscaping around that sign is going to look like, because that should be attractive, you know.
Detail for that, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's mostly, I was concerned about the puniness. These are lollipop trees, in my view. You know, they're not going to be substantial or have any kind of impact on that corner. And the Tex property, you know, that fellow had all kinds of beautiful, interesting trees. That was one of his hobbies. So I'd hate to see it a wasteland. Okay.
Lest we not forget the huge, beautiful eucalyptus trees that this applicant's predecessor cut down.
That's true too.
I
The
think
whole
some of us
thing.
remember that. Big, giant tree.
It
So,
was,
okay,
yeah.
thank you, Cara.
Anyway, thank you very much.
Oh, I'm sorry, Cara, we have a question from the commission, maybe a couple?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Cara, for the information. And I happen to live in Creek Bridge, so I
Yeah.
am very familiar with those trees.
Yeah.
And my question to you is, you said that they're about 30 feet, which
Well, the
they
ones
grow
that are
up to-
proposed.
Right,
are
they
30
grow
feet.
up to about 30 feet. And
Yeah.
you're thinking we really need 100 feet. Why?
Because that's what beautiful landscaping, a public landscaping should be. You know, this is a huge empty area, a lot of pavement. And we should carry through that we are a beautiful, you know, verdant community. If you look at the Alameda too, we had a lot of trees along there. We had a lot of trees in front of the mission in the plaza. A lot of them, you know, have seen better days or are gone. So anyway, I love to see beautiful, stately, and also it's supposed to be evocative of the city's past. You know, they didn't plant lollipop trees back in the day. This looks like a shopping center or something, you know. So that's my view. That's my personal view. I think we should have
One more-
significant
Okay,
trees.
I have one more question for you.
Chair, public comment, we can't have back and forth for
Okay.
public comment, sorry.
Thank you, sorry, guys. Thank you. Cara.
Okay, thank you. I think I exceeded my 3 minutes too.
think that was right, but what questions do you have?
You can direct questions to staff and staff can respond.
Is that it for public comment?
No,
Public comment?
no, we haven't gone to Zoom yet. Okay, that's it for in chambers. Any hands raised, Victor?
We do not have anybody on Zoom.
Pardon me?
We do not have any
Okay.
public comment on Zoom.
Thank you. Public comments closed. Chris?
Oh, I don't have any comments. I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
I don't have any further
I
questions.
have one more editorial comment. Go ahead.
Yes,
Right.
please.
I'd like to thank the CAR for the information that she provided. And although I understand where she's coming from, I think like those olive trees might be nice. I'm particular about evergreen. I always like to have something that's green, otherwise everything looks dead. But you know, the breakdown of what we saw seems nice. Again, I think looking at what the landscaping is going to look like at 1, 3, 5 years, or whatever numbers that staff decides on will really help us clarify. You know, if there's a way that we could, you know, maybe put in some taller trees as well. I do agree that these are pretty small, you know, 10 and 15 gallon. They're not very big. They're basically sticks going into the ground, and we're hoping that they're going to mature. So, you know, if we could go a little bit bigger and, you know, maybe throw in a couple of taller trees at appropriate places, that would be great. I'm not going to stop it if we don't do something like that, but I think working together makes the most sense on this. Thank you very much.
Yeah, when we bring it back, staff will also work with engineering about particular placement of taller tree just because of line of sight and safety. So we'll, when we bring it back, we'll also address those.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Just going back to the basics, okay? We asked for a elevation 3D view. Can we wait for that and then make our decision off of that? There's no need to be, you know, beating a dead horse here.
Right. Okay. Thank you. I have a couple editorial comments, like I mentioned. I know all about the Creek Bridge plane trees, and I would correct that to be the Creek Bridge London plane tree. How do I know so much about that? Because I was the one who approved the London plane trees. And Hugh and Bob Bickle, I think, sat maybe right where you are sitting, Cara, and initially proposed a 15-gallon London plane tree. And I said, Hugh, that's nonsense. We'll all be dead before those trees grow to any kind of size. You need to do 48-inch box trees. And he said, Dan, do you know how much those things cost? And I said, yeah. Do you know how much money you're going to make on this development? And he did 48-inch box trees. And that's the reason why they're so big and beautiful today. They'd probably still be growing if he would have gotten away with little 5 or 15-gallon specimens. I agree with you 100%. And I don't think you have to look any further than the olive trees immediately adjacent to the subject property at the Hacienda de Leal, where that owner applicant brought in fully mature olive trees. And those boxes were at least 4 feet, probably larger, but those trees were 50 to 75 years old already, and you can buy them mature like that. I'm not saying we need to go maybe to that extent, but I think the point of planting a prominent site like this with 5 and 15-gallon is well taken. I think that we need to think about larger specimens in order for the community's welfare and the aesthetics of the town. Far larger specimens, so I'll be paying attention to that. So those are my editorial comments. Anything else from the commissioner?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have a question about process or legality. Do we have to vote on this? If we do not vote to approve or disapprove, we don't give the applicant any like automatic approval at some point. There's no implications like that, right?
No,
It's strictly discretionary for us.
no, so you don't have to, you're basically, the motion from the consensus I'm hearing is that to
Table.
continue to address all of these items and bring 3D as well. However, that this condition would need to be met prior to occupancy permit being approved by the Community Development Department. But building permit issuance could proceed while we work through addressing these outstanding items.
With the only thing held in abeyance being the C of O at the end, right? C of O would not be issued prior to
Correct.
approval of the landscaping
Yeah,
plan. That's
correct.
the leverage we would maintain.
Yes.
Okay, satisfied with that, are you? Yeah, okay.
No, I'm not. I would like to put in that they have to provide these to us. We're giving them basically the permit to start working on this, which is fine. But I want to have that we need to have those specified plans, the elevations, whatever you want
Mhm.
to call them, by X date in order to continue moving forward. If not, everything stops.
Okay,
It's a conditional improvement.
okay,
Uh,
needs to be brought, you want to give like a 2-month,
I was going to say 3.
3-month,
I
okay,
think is fair.
yeah, a 3-month
Mhm.
time window, okay.
And do we need to make a motion to move this forward tonight? I thought so. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, with all these provisos, who can remember them all? Did anyone articulate? Okay, Ariel, do you want to state the motion, Ariel?
John, correct me if I need to fix anything, but the corrected recommendation that staff recommends that the planning commission continue the approval of the landscape and irrigation plans for the Alameda gas station project pursuant to condition of approval number 16 of the development agreement 2025-04 to address all the items discussed this evening with the finding that the building permit issuance can be issued at this time as long as the landscape plans are brought back to the Planning Commission for approval at the June regularly scheduled Planning Commission meeting. If the landscape plans are not brought back by the June regularly scheduled Planning Commission meeting, then the project would be put on hold by the city.
No certificate of occupancy until this process is completed. I guess that's redundant, isn't it? That would be redundant. Okay, never mind.
Well, you're just reiterating, I think that's fine, but.
Yeah.
Okay, so, John, are you trying to say anything, John? We can't hear you, so.
I have not, I'm more comfortable really with the latter language, that being a certificate of occupancy would not be issued. I don't think we can just hold up the project based on this, but I do think we can not issue the certificate of occupancy before this condition is met.
Well, I think to address Commissioner Retinal's concern, she wants to see some more specific plans back before this commission by June.
Yes.
Or else. What would you
Yeah.
suggest?
Yeah.
What would you suggest for the or else?
When would the certificate of occupancy be issued?
At the very end.
It's an
Yeah.
undetermined date. It depends on the progression of construction. I think maybe corrected language is that it would be continue to a date certain of the June regularly scheduled Planning Commission meeting. And the condition of approval needs to have met all the specificity that was requested this evening. the planning does, and the city does have the right to put a project on hold if conditions of approval are not in compliance.
Chair, may I speak? Thank you. John, my whole reason for doing this is security on both sides. I know that the applicant wants to get going and wants to build this, and I think all of us here want to have this built as well. I just want to cover all sides and protect all here, specifically the city. And I want to make sure that things move along in a timely manner. So I don't want to wait till the end, allow them to build this whole thing and not have what we've asked for, and then have a big fight in the end. So by giving them 3 months, that should be more than enough time to provide us with the details that we're looking for so that we can then go ahead and approve. And if they don't, then they know that we're serious. We really do want this. We're going to stop work until we're going to prevent them from doing any further work until they meet the requirements that we have put upon this as a temporary permit to begin building unless certain requirements aren't met. That's why I want this done. If you have a better way of doing it, please present it, but that is my intent. So if we can work with that, I would really be grateful. Thank you.
That sounds sensible to me. I think, yeah, we would say that the planning commission has the right to put the project on hold should they not comply.
Thank you.
Excuse me. So therefore, I think if I'm keeping track accurately, we're back to your original language that you stated, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
You want me to?
No, I
Okay.
think we all have it fresh in our minds, don't we? And then
Yeah, I mean, I think she needs to state it.
she did already. She said, you want to say it again? Sure. Go ahead. Of course.
For the record, staff recommends that the planning commission review and approve. For the record, staff recommends that the planning commission continue the review and approval of the landscape and irrigation plans for the Alameda Gas Station project pursuant to condition of approval number 16 of the development agreement 2025-04 to a date certain of the regularly scheduled June planning commission meeting, at which time the applicant shall address all of the items requested tonight. And if the planning commission finds that the condition of approval is still not met, they have the authority and right to put the project on hold, being out of compliance with the condition of approval.
So moved.
Thank you. I thought I was just going to ask for that. So for the record, motion made by Commissioner Marana for an adoption of the staff recommendation as just stated. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Is the motion and a second? Victor, may we have a vote, please?
Yes. Commissioner Britno. Commissioner Mortorana.
Aye.
Commissioner Sanchez.
Aye.
Chair DeVries.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good work, everyone. Very good work. Okay, future agenda items. Is that a call to the commission or to staff or both? I always forget. Is that your way of asking whether the commissioners have future agenda item ideas?
If there is anything you would like to direct to staff.
Okay, so yes. Are there any future agenda ideas?
Nothing at this point.
Thank you, Chair. Ariel, we've met and we briefly talked about the grants that we were looking at. I know you guys are super duper busy right now, but those are going to come back onto our agenda items and be addressed, correct?
I will provide an update of grants at next planning commission meeting.
Thank you very much.
Andy, do you have any ideas for future agenda things you would like to see, talk about, anything?
No, not at the moment, but wouldn't that be a historical resource board topic?
Grant issue?
Yeah.
Probably both.
Probably, yeah, might be.
If it applies to the Historic Resource Board, I will present it at that meeting. If it's more planning related, I'll present at planning.
Appreciate all the efforts. You guys are doing a great job.
And I don't have any comments for future agenda items myself, so. Okay, then item 6, comments, planning commissioners. Anyone? Eddie, you have any comments?
No, again, great job.
Elise,
None from me, thank you.
Chris,
I have nothing to add. Thank you.
nothing from me either. I'd like to just say, good work again on the 4C landscaping plan. I think we have that going in the right direction, for sure. So thank you everyone for that. It seems like everyone contributed to that too, so that was great, including staff. Thank you, Ariel.
Victor, would you like to pull up for planning manager comments?
Right.
I will try to be quick. Ariel Goodsby, planning manager. Next slide. So this is just a quick update of some of the items that are currently going on in the last month. We actually just today received a home occupation permit for on-site work for bidding and phone calls. We're continuing to work on our fee schedule update with a target of adoption in June with City Council. The planning commissioners will be attending the planning commissioners. 3 of the planning commissioners will be attending the Planning Commissioner Academy Conference next week, March 11th through 13th. As mentioned earlier, the housing element was certified by HCD on Thursday, February 26th. And also, as mentioned earlier, on March 25th, 2026 at 5:30, the first reviewed draft of the general plan amendment for the infill study will be brought to the Urban Growth Boundary Committee. Additionally, in building, I just want to provide this notice is up on our in our front office, but it is an update that's been effective since February of earlier this year that inspections are on Tuesdays and Thursday afternoons 1 to 5. Inspections have to be scheduled before 3. If an emergency inspection or inspection outside normal business hours is requested, there's an additional fee of $668. The reason for this currently, we only have a few inspections per week. When we were scheduling, we were being charged a minimum of 4 hours. And that cost was not being recovered. And so in order to ensure that we're doing cost recovery and breaking even on our inspections for the time being, we have initiated this. Staff is working to eventually maybe have in-house inspections, and so we don't have to do this. But for the time being, in case you hear of anything that this is why, cost recovery. In February, there were 9 building permits that were issued. There was 3 re-roofs, 5 photovoltaic systems, and 1 plumbing permit. Additionally, there's flyers available. There's free technical assistance on the new California Title 24 for energy and green building from the Central California Rural Regional Energy Network, CCR REN. So that's just for anyone interested. Next slide. We have made additional changes to code enforcement. We're really working on bridging that gap with our public and being a lot more friendly. We really just want to help people make sure that they're getting the correct permits that they need it and for life, health, safety. And so for anything that's not building related, we have created a new door hanger, a code enforcement courtesy notice with a process. We'll have them, within, 10 days, 10 business days, to come in and talk to us on how to rectify that. If not, we also include the date we're going to come out and reinspect. Staff will then, if it hasn't been complied with, we then will follow up with a letter courtesy notice that will get mailed, certified mail to the residents. They have 10 days to comply, and then we'll proceed with a notice violation. We're trying to give people, they're very busy. We're a lot of times commuter communities, we're trying to give them opportunities, but also sometimes it's disrupting other neighbors. And so, that balance between, neighbors, but also being friendly. So if you have any comments or suggestions, if it's helping, again, we just want to provide that open communication. Come talk to us. We want to work with you if you're getting these. What happened last month, 7 new code cases, 3 were animal nuisance. We have a rooster situation in this town that we are working diligently to solve. Lots of people are getting these new courtesy notices. 3 properties related to code cases and 2 signage cases. And that concludes my presentation.
Can anyone remember San Juan without a rooster issue?
What happened to the peacock?
Oh, that was on Church Street.
Hey, Ariel, again, great job. I really love the whole door signage warnings or courtesies. Yeah. Great job. As I understand that you're taking on more roles right now, you're also absorbing code enforcement.
That is correct.
So I just want to ensure that you're not burning the candle on both ends, because you're doing a hell of a job.
I love San Juan. I'm here to serve. And I have an amazing team. Victor and Manny, I couldn't ask for anything more. And they're really helping and taking a lot of the slack. So I'm not even going to toot my own horn. It's really them.
That's great. Thank you both. Anything else? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Hang that gavel.
Aye.
These are all you.